Hello everyone, and welcome to our third episode covering Digimon Adventure: which is the 2020 reboot, and this time we watched And Into the Digital World. I'm May, and I'm joined by some two fantastic, wonderful co-hosts.
Where are they then? They're a bit late.
Well, I don't know where they are, but I'm Quinn. Hi.
And I'm Stevie, and I'm a Sora Helmet stan.
And say, I think I'm a visor stan, honestly.
Whoa.
I don't mind the visor. It looks a little bit weird, but, I like it. I'm glad that we didn't see it, in any previous concept art, because it is, it was a surprise.
Yeah, I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. It was well done. We're doing something new with the designs besides, Joe's got pants now. Mm-hmm. But,
That's fine, yeah. But why Sora a golfer now?
I don't know, but
it's just to show that Sora's gay.
Yeah, I was just about to say, isn't that, are we going into, the lesbian golfer thing? Because,
yes,
I'm
please.
for that. I know she's 10, but,
10-year-olds can be lesbian golfers, it's fine.
I just love how she's cool. Everyone just says, oh, yeah, she's cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
We've never met, but I've heard how cool you are. I mean, I want that to be me, that is extremely goals.
With the visor.
I'm a lesbian, but I'm not a golfer lesbian.
Well, you have to take up golf. I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say.
Oh, I used to golf. I just didn't care for it much.
I'm just bad at anything that requires coordination. Hello, just a quick update before this podcast gets underway with the synopsis and the discussion and everything. So I'm recording this a couple of hours after we recorded, just as I've finished editing and uploading this episode, and the news came out that Digimon Adventure: will be on hiatus due to COVID. So the hiatus is starting from when episode 4 would air, so it turns out we're not actually getting episode 4 of Digimon Adventure: So that's a bit of a bummer because, and as you listen to this episode, we are pretty excited for the way that the series in episode 4 will play out, and it seems that we don't know when that will be. So I just thought I'd put this in as a little bit of an update. I'll link the With the Will news in the link dump, so you'll be able to read up about it. But as I said, there's no date where the series will resume airing. So yeah, so we won't be obviously covering Adventure: until it starts coming out again. So it's kind of a bummer, but yeah, I guess the show must go on. And here is episode 3, which was recorded hours before we had such bad news about the topic, so this is why we're so positive and excited, and I was unsure whether I should add in a little bit here or just have it in the description, and I opted just for a bit of an update to the actual audio just because it gives a bit of information, yes, we're very excited, but no, this was recorded and everything we said was before we had any idea that this would happen. There was speculation that something like this would happen, but none of us could have assumed it would be that fast. We might thought, they'll get a couple of episodes out and then say, oh, we're on hiatus now, but we didn't expect it to be basically immediate. So that's a bit of a bummer, but I guess onto the show anyway, and I hope you enjoy our discussion on episode 3, and we look forward to covering episode 4 and the rest of the series whenever it's released and we're able to cover it. Alright, on to the show! So my first point about this episode was it started, and we still don't have evolving credits, and I'm beginning to lose
I just don't think we're going to. Yeah.
Yeah, at the start, it was super, super obvious, oh yeah, we're going to get evolving credits, no problem. But now, because it's moved on, and we would have expected to see Yamato, at least, in these credits, they've just not changed. They're the exact same. No characters have been added. I think that we're just not going to be getting evolving credits. Which,
yeah.
I've almost lost hope. There's still room for
next week
episode.
Could be the time to do it, I guess, but it's definitely not when I would have.
Yeah, unless they're going to put them all in at the same time, so it's not like evolving credits, it just is normal changing credits.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment they've just got a glimpse of every character, I think. Maybe they'll add more in, as they get the first Digivolution sequence or something. Because so far only Taichi's had Agumon to Greymon.
Yeah, we haven't seen Gabumon yet, to be fair, either. But maybe it's as they go into the digital world. So maybe, again, next episode, if we don't have it by episode 5, we won't have it.
Yeah. Speaking of, I think it's still weird that we don't know how many episodes there are. What a weird thing not to have announced by 3 weeks in.
like, people keep on saying, oh, it's got to be 50 episodes. I'm like, does it? Like, it could literally be 10 episodes long.
I wouldn't be that shocked at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I want it to be more. Imagine if we each have, like, 5 episodes per character. Like, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
If we actually focus. But
I don't think it'll happen.
Did Applemon get 50 episodes?
It did.
Yes.
Then this probably will?
51, I think, which was weird.
Yeah. But, I mean, I wanted to have 50 episodes, and I feel like the way that they've kind of slowly introducing characters, I feel like it feels like it must be more than, like, 20 at the rate we're going.
Maybe.
But we're going so fast in some aspects, but then so slow in other aspects. It's just so unusual.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this episode starts from where episode 2 finished, and Taichi and Yamato are floating and glowing as Omegamon talks to them, I don't know, mentally. It was kind of weird, because his mouth isn't even open at all. He's just sort of standing there, and he just says, okay, let's go. And I'm not sure if there's, like, a psychic link. I don't know why I had to focus on that part, but I just sort of, But it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Omegamon gets his source of power from Taichi and Yamato, so psychic link, sure, go for it.
Yeah, I'm willing to be into the psychic links if, like, everybody gets that. Because I sort of dig the, human emotion can do a little more than just make the evolution happen. It can actually do something specific in a given battle, but...
Yeah.
You can
like more than a battery.
You can make Taichi and Yamato float around behind them for the entire fight.
Yeah.
In great
that's
danger.
A superpower. Yeah. So Kotaro can't analyze Omegamon, and then we have a pretty cool scene of Algomon and Omegamon fighting, and it's very our war game to the point that, like, some of the animation looks like it's a direct reference, the way they're sort of fighting, and then Omegamon pings Algomon against a wall and, like, stabs him, and the way that they're fighting is just so reminiscent of our war game, but it's not in, like, oh man, this is boring, this is just what we've seen before. It's a nice, like, throwback. It's a nice sort of tribute to our war game in the way of the animation. Also, the animation is just really nice.
Yeah, like, I'm really digging the art style. I will give it that much, even if I am nervous about other aspects. It's been a gorgeous show.
Yeah, and the animation hasn't dropped in quality. Like, that's always a worry. Like, a lot of people saying, surely after episode 2 the animation quality will drop. And I feel like this episode was almost, like, maybe better in terms of the animation quality. I don't know. There were some great shots of, like the backdrops, like the scenery. Like, later on we'll see wherever Yamato is, and we see, like, a mountainscape with the ocean or a river, and then we see when they're at camp they're skipping stones on the water, and the water is just so almost Miyazaki in terms of how lifelike, in terms of how the water is flowing.
I did enjoy that.
So yeah, it's like, I just feel like this episode had some really great animation, and it was just really nice to see, because it's Digimon, and Digimon hasn't always had that sort of...
It did not have the best nuclear physics, I gotta tell you, but that's okay.
But to see water flowing in that... I made a gif of it because it was just so beautiful, and it did not look like it's from Digimon when they're skipping the stones, because the water just looks like flowing water. And that's why I said it's very Miyazaki-esque, because a lot of what Miyazaki does is, or any Studio Ghibli movie really, is that the water just flows so lifelike, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the way you can sort of see through the water, like, the water's not just a one colour, you can actually see, like, any soil beneath it, and it just seems nice. I don't know, I'm just a big fan of the animation. I'm not usually a huge person who gushes about animation, because I don't usually pay attention enough for it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Then the opening theme starts playing, because of course it does, because it's a shonen, but except usually in shonen they have the last episode where they have a super cool fight with an instrumental of the opening playing.
Yeah, this was weird, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And I also noticed at this point that Algomon is destroyed, and nobody has really spoken in this episode besides Omegamon, kind of.
Yeah, barely.
Yeah, it's just like, wow, I want there to be a double of this, because I can't wait to see how many dumb lines they put in here, or how many screams they put in.
So bad.
They've just got 10 minutes of silence to dub over.
Yeah, I mean, Taichi and Yamato don't talk the entire time. They just
You
look
know who else
menacing.
doesn't really talk?
Mimi.
Hikari.
Yeah, well, she says some words in this episode at least.
Technically, yes, but I am mad. I am salt.
Yeah. Soon, I'm sure. I still have faith in whatever they're going to do.
Do you have hope?
I hope. Yeah. I
and
have
light.
Hope. And light.
How about miracles?
And feathers, apparently. Anyway,
Crest of feathers. My favourite crest.
Crest of feathers, yeah. It's a very fluffy crest. So I immediately regret the fact I've just pointed out how quiet the episode is, because we then get, like, our first of, like, 3 info dumps by Koshiro, and he informs us about the missile that needs to be stopped, and apparently everyone just forgot about the missile while they were fighting, except for Koshiro, and Taichi says, oh yeah, we'll blow up the missile, and then he and Yamato's Digivice glows, and then it sends them to some missile part of the network, the military part, I guess. But for a hot second, for some reason, I thought that Omegamon was just firing at Tokyo in general, because he's just pointing his sword at a map and it's just exploding. So that was weird, but it's really pretty. And then this entire next scene is so pretty, the way that the visuals and the lights sort of form around Omegamon as he diverts the missile and he sends it back to space, apparently, and it explodes, and it's displays that's seen across the world, or probably at least the Northern Hemisphere. Because we see Paris.
No, I thought I was pretty sure that was just Tokyo Tower.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh man, okay. I don't know my buildings.
Yeah, I mean, it would. I kind of looked like it for a second, but I'm pretty sure it was just supposed to be Tokyo Tower. And also, if it was Paris, then the curvature of the Earth would. Then I will be even more mad.
Yeah, you're right. Well, remember, Digimon's not good with geography, because that time where we went from Sydney to the Great Barrier Reef. So. Yeah, but anyway, You're right. It's probably Tokyo Tower. I think I just wanted it to be Paris, because I like it when we see other places in the world besides Japan that are affected by this, and it's not just, hey, look, it's Tokyo. And I'm really glad that later on Koshiro says, hey, why did they target Tokyo out of everywhere in the world?
It's a fair question.
Thank you. Like, it's the same with any TV series. Like, how come Doctor Who always focuses everything on, like, Wales and general UK area?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. In this case, you could sort of justify it by, well, there were these really important 8 kids in Tokyo.
Yeah, and I guess that's the point. But sometimes it's always like, but we know there's chosen around the world.
Do we?
Usually. But in 02, which was like, the World Tour arc at least showed that, yes, there are Digimon battles happening elsewhere, just not very big ones.
Sure.
Well, I mean, they say themselves that it's probably because they were opposing Algamon in the network.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I'm going to nuke your hometown.
Yeah, I'm glad they addressed that, though, because so many times we just don't address things in Digimon for no reason, other than, like, because the script says to.
I like it when they address things early in the show.
Yeah. Well, not just like, oh, by the way, there was a prophecy.
Why did you bring this up in episode 48 of 50?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, this prophecy would have been nice to know, 40 episodes ago when, we first met you. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, so Koshiro's laptop and basically all the electronics around Japan start to switch off, and then Omegamon sends some random rainbow beam out of his wings, and it makes some aurora borealis or something in this part of the world, this time of year.
Look
sounds
like
so incredibly
entirely
gay.
Tokyo.
Yeah, but the thing is, why? I was so expecting this to be the moment that sends them to the digital world.
Nope. We still have to
But
go to
it
summer
wasn't.
camp.
But that's not it. They don't get to the digital world there either.
I know, it's
And,
so...
But it's worth it. It's worth it. We get a glimpse of Joe at summer camp.
Yeah, well, it's worth it just for that moment and for the fact, like...
Honestly, what drives me
some cute
wild is
finger.
the idea that the day after a nuclear bomb goes off over Tokyo, we're just sending kids to summer camp.
I think it's because people like to try to get back to normality as soon as possible, and also because they're children, they don't want to, like, make them worry about it, so they don't want to change up the plans they already have. But also,
Yeah, like, I remember 9/11.
Yeah,
This would be a
9/11.
lot bigger deal.
Yeah,
Well,
like...
The new
I mean, I didn't understand 9/11. I just remembered I couldn't watch TV for some reason because
fair.
the cartoons weren't on, and that was because I was like 8.
Sure.
And then I asked my parents, why aren't the cartoons on? And then my parents explained to me, and I did not understand why anyone would do anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, well, that seems mean because I'm 8 and I don't know how things work. I'm like, why would they do that? Why would anyone do that? I can't imagine anyone doing that. I'm like, oh, never mind. Oh, the purity of a child. Like, okay, why would anyone do that? But I can't watch TV.
Anyway, welcome to Lost in 9/11.
Yeah, but I remember that, but I'm not sure how quickly America went back to normality after that.
It was a bit And also,
Yeah.
this would not just be 9/11. This would be Japan getting nuked by America for the third time.
Yeah, so, like, yeah, I don't think that would get... And also, but they're not saying, oh, hey, America, that's kind of shifty. Apparently they're just passing it off as an error.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, that was an accident.
Oh, big
Because people
whoopsie.
would
Also,
believe that.
we're just completely ignoring that there is just a massive amount of radioactive material all over Japan now.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
fine.
It's fine. It's fine. There
fine.
was an EMP, but Omegamon fixed it.
Yeah,
Yay.
magic. Digimon magic. It's fine. We don't have to think about real life physics. Speaking of magic, we have Hikari who just looks up and she's just looks so knowing and smiles, like she's just aware of what's happening. Like, are they going for like this? Like, she's more like magic and psychic than like maybe she's already possessed with homeostasis or there's something going on. But they're definitely angling at the fact, or at least with the way she looks so knowing, is that like she knows about Digimon already.
Oh yeah,
Well, she always had those sort of weird knowing lines in the first series, didn't she?
she did.
At least in the dub, more so in the dub.
Yeah.
Like, I think she was normal more in the original in terms of, like, what an 8-year-old girl would say.
Yeah.
But they made her, like, an old woman
A little
in
bit.
terms of maturity in the dub. Which is, you know, it's kind of nice.
Sort of. I don't know.
I hope it gets addressed if she's magic or not.
I really appreciated what Diz said in the Discord, which was Hikari's job is to stand around and look mysterious. And that's,
well, that's what...
pretty sure she's not even going to get to the digital world for a while, so yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And then Koshiro
take his
continues an info dump, and he basically talks about what we just saw for about like 5 minutes straight.
Yep.
And it's I'm like, oh no, can Koshiro please stop giving us info dumps of things that like we just saw? And what I really love, and this is why I keep on saying Taichi is the best in this show, is because Taichi doesn't question it. He's like, oh well, everyone's safe, it's fine. And but then he immediately asks, hey, do you think it was a dream? As he holds up the Digivice.
Also,
And
it was an hour ago,
yeah.
and like you could turn on the television.
Yeah. And Taichi feels bad because he didn't ask where Yamato lives.
That's fair.
And then he says, oh, maybe we should keep quiet about the whole thing, which, like, I don't know why you would, because you're 10, and this is, like, pretty exciting, and I'm pretty sure if this
like
happened to me, even as an adult, I would tell everyone.
The first thing I would do would be tell my parents. Well, my mom anyway.
They'd be like, hey, by the way, I met a dinosaur, and then the dinosaur fused with the wolf and became a man, and I glowed, and I was flying around. We stopped a nuke. Yeah, but
hi,
didn't
Mom. I
ask where
saved
he
all of your
lives.
lives today. You can bake me a cake now.
Yeah. And a potato jerky shake or whatever.
Yeah.
Thanks, dub. Never stop dubbing. And then Taichi does another thing, which is the best thing ever, is that he thanks Koshiro, and Koshiro says, I didn't do anything, and Taichi's like, of course you did. We wouldn't know any of this if you weren't looking it up the whole time. You were great support. Like, none of this could be possible without you. And that's just so nice.
Koshiro
that he
the wiki.
addresses him. Yeah, and Koshiro just, like, is so embarrassed and, like, looks so happy that he's being thanked. And it just makes me so happy that Taichi's giving credit to Koshiro, because Koshiro did look up a lot of information. They wouldn't know about the nuke. They wouldn't know about any of this happening if it wasn't for Koshiro. So that's great. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging how good he is. This is a good Taichi. He's my favorite. And then Koshiro's about to go down the lift, and Taichi stops it and says, oh wait, we forgot to talk about camp. And then they laugh. And then immediately when Taichi's at home, he then forgets about the fact he didn't prepare for camp. So thanks, Taichi.
Good job.
And of course, Taichi's asking about if his sister is okay after everything, and Hikari's like knowingly just like, yeah, everything's good. Everything's good. Being mysterious and being Hikari, apparently. And then she runs off and thanks him because, again...
She knows!
Yeah, she knows something. And then we get a similar sort of interaction between Yamato and Takeru over the phone, and it seems that, like, Takeru also knows.
Yes.
And,
Yeah,
was told to stay at home.
Yeah, I assume that's why they were the two who did not go. And I find that a little dissatisfying. What if all 8 of them showed up at the same time? What if this time we left 2 of them behind? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people are saying that, like, they expect 2 kids not to be sent to the digital world, and that would be... Well, first of all, people are saying Hikari and Mimi. I'm like,
That's
no,
an oddball
please.
choice. Yeah,
Yeah, please, no.
I feel like
I would...
if they're doing that, it's going to be Takeru and Hikari.
Oh, definitely. Especially because the opening, we see everyone's adult forms fight except for Hikari and Takeru, who Takeru pats his Patamon. And that's still the best gif ever that Stevie made with, like, the Patamon dog gif of just the
But
Patamon.
yes, I think they're going to be evolution batteries for most of the series.
Yeah. But I think I kind of like that they're being paired together. Like, it's not just Hikari being magical, it's now Takeru being magical.
He was always a little magical. Not quite as much.
Yeah.
But also I think they're trying to ship it.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't do much in the original series. Like, besides the Angemon beating Devimon, most of the time he evolved like 3 times throughout the show.
Yeah.
Like, he did not do much in the first, like, portion of the show, just except the obvious, and then Patamon was a baby for a long time.
Yeah.
So I can see that they could do without Takeru or introduce him later. Or maybe he already has his Digivice, already knows about Digimon and stuff, but Yamato is just saying, hey, this is dangerous, stay inside, let me, the 10-year-old, do the battles.
Yeah, I'm inclined to think that's probably it. I just don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it, when you are 11 or 10, like, an 8-year-old is like, that's a baby.
Yeah.
That is a tiny baby, but, like, now it's like, 2-3 years younger than me, that's an adult. Like, it's barely, I can't really tell the difference between someone who is 27 and someone who is 24, because they are adults. They are still adults. They have graduated university. Well, unless they're, like, if they're just doing a normal bachelor degree, they've graduated university. So I guess it's sort of like he's protecting his sibling, but I kind of wanted more out of their conversation, but I guess that's why they made it a short conversation, because I'm meant to want more.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, how much of these scenes do I not like because I want more, because that's how I'm meant to feel, and so how much like I want more because I'm not satisfied with what I got. Speaking of that, we go to summer camp for about 3 seconds.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a weird thing. I got lost for a little bit during this scene, or like at the end of this scene. So we see Joe for about like a hot second, and it's great.
He is a good.
Obviously, yeah.
He
Joe's
is leader.
So good, and it's so good that we get another character, even though we don't know that we know that he's going to be a chosen, but at the moment,
It's,
in terms of the story, we don't know.
I find it so wild that we have not established for, a new kid watching this that Takeru and Yamato are brothers.
No,
which
not
is
at all.
Just, like, I don't think that's a good decision. Also, I'm going to start keeping track of whether or not the show ever passes the Bechdel test.
No, I think Takeru says Oni-chan in the phone call, but I'm not 100%.
Maybe?
I think so, vaguely.
But would you recognise Takeru from voice alone anyway?
Yes. Well, now I've heard his voice, yes.
Okay.
But it wasn't Yamato, because Yamato has the deepest voice known to man for an 11-year-old.
Not wrong.
Which is weird, completely weird, that his voice sounds like that. Anyway,
he has to be edgy. That's how we do it.
Has to be edgy. So Taichi and Koshiro are talking about everything again, even though it just happened. We get another info dump, and we find out that the whole story's been reported as an error, which is just like...
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, Japan almost blew up, or at least Tokyo almost blew up.
Again.
And we're just sort of shrugging it. Like, okay, they must have just hit a button that says do not press, whatever.
It's fine.
Like, they're just sort of shrugging it off.
Yeah, it's honestly more, it's less believable than that there are Digimon.
Yeah. So we get a peak Joe, besides him being at school when everyone else is with Omegamon. We get Joe cutting his finger, which distracts Koshiro, which causes him to drop his laptop. Well, by drop, I mean he throws it. He, like, yeets it across the campground. And then Sora, because,
Rule
I don't
of
know,
cool.
She's cool.
She's just too cool. She's actually feels more cool than Yamato.
You're not wrong.
Like, I feel
Whoa.
like Sora's now the cool
no.
girl.
100% she is.
She's
Nope.
wearing a visor.
She's a visor.
The
She
visor
plays
is not
football.
a plus. The visor is not a good. It does not.
I like that.
She is football lesbian.
like her.
She is golf lesbian.
Rollerblade
She is
lesbian.
Oh my
not
god,
cooler
Sora as
than
rollerblade
Wolf
lesbian
Boy.
would be amazing.
Yeah.
Still
Which is
not-
just like, I feel like that's what Tri was lacking.
She wasn't
Rollerblades.
introduced riding a giant blue wolf, okay? She's not that cool.
She has have you seen the intro? It has her, like, flying the Birdramon.
Intro
and
doesn't
she looks
count.
So, like,
Intro
she's
isn't
ready to
canon yet.
fight.
Well, wait till next week then.
I'm looking forward to more of her.
Me too.
we mentioned a bit before, but she's wearing a visor, not a helmet, which is like, it suits her outfit more, but it's just sort of weird to see her wear something on her head that's not
Sora,
like...
you have hair.
Yeah, like, oh, Sora, you have hair now.
She's officially a girl.
Yeah, apparently.
That's how you know.
So
that and the pink shirt.
We know that... Yeah, that and the pink shirt. And I think it's got a butterfly on it.
It does.
Because of course it does, because Digimon loves butterflies.
I'm still sad every time I see the opening and it doesn't have butterfly.
I'm actually okay with it because this is... Like, we've got to remember, this is an anime for 2020. And when I listen to the opening theme song, it follows a lot of the other shonen anime that's on. It's similar... Like, sometimes I'll have it stuck in my head and I'm like, oh, is that a My Hero Academia opening? Oh, no, it's Digimon.
Yeah, fair.
Because it has such, like, the similar sort of pacing, the similar sort of, like, this is a shonen anime and we're gonna, like, fight. Yeah, fight.
There was so much
fight.
But
back in the anime of, like, the 90s, you think of, like, we've got Dragon Ball, which is cha-la, head cha-la. It's like, you know...
Very different, yeah.
It's still fun, but it's not like I'm gonna punch you in the face fun. This is like we're on adventure and it's fun. Butterfly is very like we're on adventure and it's emotional and I'm having a good time. But like anime openings now, especially with shonen, is very much just like I'm gonna punch you in the face. Yeah, we're a team. I'm gonna punch you. Yeah, we're a team, and that's how openings go. So I feel like. And also, I just want to dive into the future, which is a good cross between
that was good.
Emotion and punching, because Aries there. But I feel like I'm okay with the opening not being butterfly because we've got to think that this is for this time. This anime is for this timeline. Well, this timeline. That's not correct.
Timeline.
This time in the future where. This is how opening songs sound, and it does remind me of My Hero Academia, maybe because that's one of the only other animes that I watch that is currently airing.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of shonen lately.
Sora is in Taichi's class, but Taichi informs us that he's actually known Sora for way longer than that, and then we have Koshiro wondering why the missile was targeting Japan, and that's a really good question, but I guess it's answered by, yep, they're the main characters and they were fighting Algomon, so that's why Tokyo was targeted.
Yep.
And then the children return home, and it seems that Algomon was reborn, and then all electronic devices across Tokyo are switching off, and this is causing outages. This whole scene, like, threw me off, because I'm like, because we're still getting the info dump from Koshiro at this point, so we're getting, like, a clip show, but I thought for a second we were just getting shots of, like, what was happening at this time, like, just overnight, or while they're at camp. But no, they are going home from camp.
Yeah, they go all the way home before they go to the digital world.
Yeah, which is so weird, because...
They're just trying to invalidate the 90s music.
Like, we were in summer camp for, like... Oh, it was just overnight.
Yeah, I mean, they did say in the first episode it was only a weekend, but I was still surprised when that didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, and it was only a couple of minutes in the actual show, which just felt weird, and it just threw me off just a little bit.
They could honestly have just said summer camp got cancelled and accomplished pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, and they could have just met Sora or Joe throughout the...
You could have met at the park
like,
for
the street.
football.
Yeah, I don't know, something like that.
Sora plays
Joe
golf, not soccer.
You don't know that.
No, she plays everything. She does everything. It's fine.
She just plays the sport.
Yeah.
Sora plays both teams, huh?
Yeah, definitely. She's
Absolutely.
the golf bisexual. Anyway, the power outage appears to be growing, and Koshiro predicts how it will spread, which is, again, Koshiro's being really smart and really cool. And then the children, since they're home now, they are separated, but then their digivices start glowing while they're talking over the phone, and Taichi leaves to see where Koshiro is, because Koshiro's the exact same bench he was in last episode. I guess that's just his bench now. Taichi tells Hikari to stay home and safe, and a feather is seen behind her as Taichi leaves. Again, Hikari's just staying there being mysterious, I guess.
I think the feather's stalking Hikari.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy. It's almost just like... Oh no, this is where the bad guy would show up, so maybe...
Yeah, the feather was black this time, so...
It's Demeanour.
Well, I mean, it was a shadow, but even so.
It's Myotismon, again. But he's the same Myotismon, he's just gone through a different...
I 100% unironically hope that it's the same Myotismon.
Yeah, and he's just annoyed, like, why are you wearing different clothes and why are you younger?
Is this because of the reboot?
Yeah, and he's just, like, really mad about it because he has to beat them again.
Oh, that'd be so good.
But they beat him. And, yeah, so... Taichi's wondering if his digivice is glowing because it's Agumon calling for him. And then when Taichi and Koshiro see each other, their crests glow. And then we get 3 lights falling towards the network, and it's orange, red, and purple. So obviously Sora is also there.
Yeah.
And we see that the orange and red ones are closer together. So we know that maybe Koshiro won't be with them. And when Taichi opens his eyes, he sees that they're not in the network. And he's reunited with Agumon, and we get basically Jurassic Park, because we see Stegomon and Brachiomon.
Mm-hmm.
And which is really great to see Brachiomon, by the way, because I love Brachiomon.
I
it's
do
just silly
absolutely love that last shot.
Yes, with like the unknown Digimon that are just flying around. It's just, these are dinosaurs. We're just seeing dinosaurs now. Are Digimon just dinosaurs?
Well, it makes sense. That's
great.
where Agumon lives, with the dinosaurs.
And
Explains
Agumon
why Piomon
informs
would be
us
close.
Agumon informs us that we're in the digital world. Also, it reminds me of the place where all the dinosaurs are in Digimon World 1, because I feel like we get like a giant skeleton in the backdrop.
Yeah, I could see that.
Or at least it looks like that in the mountains.
Yeah.
And then the episode ends because it's at a weird point, and I feel like the show is just feeling like a quick story or an OVA, rather than how quickly each episode sort of goes into another one, and the episodes don't feel as sort of almost complete. Each episode feels...
It's definitely
like,
a thing you have to watch in order every week, as opposed to the old serialized version that they used to do.
What were your highlights of this episode?
I was a little... I was definitely into the digital world at the end. God, that was some good art.
Oh yeah, that was some good... And nicely coloured too. I like how it's sort of blue and green and brightly coloured.
Yeah,
it's sort
definitely.
Of nice.
Got some Atmon.
But at the same time, at the same time you can tell that it's digital, because the water is like all pixelated, and you can. It's a good comparison to all the shots we had of the water in the human world compared to all the shots we have now of the digital world where the water is pixelated. It is a really nice comparison to know that they look completely different. Like, at least water in the real world still looks real. In the digital world, it's pixelated, because of course it is, and I really like that.
You were saying something, Stevie?
I'm struggling to think of highlights, really.
Oof.
Oh, that's sad. Mine's just the animation and the callbacks to our wargame.
I do love Sora. I
overarching
was
thing.
a little done with the our wargame callbacks.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much hopefully done with the Our Wargame now, which is, I feel like that is a good amount of Our Wargame, because I love Our Wargame. I love seeing the callbacks, but I'm glad that we might have actually moved on from that from now. We're actually in the digital world. We're going to meet the other characters.
I'll be disappointed if we keep doing retreads.
Yes.
But, here's hoping.
I'm okay with nods. Like, the summer camp, that was a nod. We're not... as shocked as I was that we didn't get, magicked away to the digital world at summer camp, I'm kind of glad, because we already saw them got magicked away to summer camp in the original. Let's do something different. Let's go to summer camp. And I feel like it's almost the writers sort of... It's a bit of a gotcha for the viewers who saw the original.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a, whoop, we're not going, nope, summer camp done. So maybe it's a gotcha for us to sort of say, oh, I thought they were going to go there. Like, maybe we're meant to feel sort of lost in the fact that we didn't go to the digital world from summer camp.
I hope it's not the case where they're just going to keep subverting our expectations for the sake of it, because that would be disappointing.
I feel like that was only because it was the first episode. Like, or the first couple of episodes. Like, it's sort of like, hey, you old people who are watching this show, despite being adults.
Old people.
Thank you for funding this show, May, by buying all the merchandise you could possibly ever want. We know that you bought that fluffy Agumon, you piece of human garbage.
We are making the show specifically because May single-handedly supports the industry.
Yeah, so it's like, hey, old fans, we appreciate you watching it. And Atmon did the same sort of thing. It was just that Agumon, and the game was adventure. Like, you'd fight Devimon, you'd fight Myotismon, and the backdrop was very adventure. So I feel like we're only getting a small nod of like, hey, old people, we see what's up. And I don't think that we'll be going too much more, hey, old people, remember this, get this reference. I feel like it's going to be subtle ones, and I don't feel like it's going to be forced down our throat. But that's what I hope, because I want it to be an original story for people who are new fans to the show, or for, the children who are watching, because it is a children's show. I hope that it's not going to be full of these references that they'll just completely miss. I'm okay with it just sort of being every so often like, hey guys, point to the corner of the screen, remember summer camp? Like, that's fine.
Yeah,
it was on TK's shirt that one time.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to knowing more about this like this universe, this whole how the kids are related to each other, and what their personalities are like. Are they different from the original series? I'm looking forward to seeing Mimi. But in terms of highlights, I feel like it's just the animation was great. Like, that is always something that is different to see when I watch Digimon, that the animation actually being good. And yeah, my highlights list was fairly short this time, but I'm fairly happy with the animation. I'm fairly happy with the way that it seems to be going. The episode feels like it potentially flows well into the next episode, and I have high hopes for the next episode because of the setup that this episode did. So yeah, my highlights are mainly dependent on the next episode. The next episode is really good. This episode is fine.
Yeah. It feels like this episode is just a lot of setup, really. So the main highlight for me was just Joe, because that moment was funny.
Joe was good.
Getting against him was nice.
If we're going to do lowlights, I guess I want to mention that, like, I honestly felt like the Omegamon fight kind of dragged on. And
it was half the episode.
Yeah, I was pretty ready for it to be over in the first, 5 minutes of this episode, and then it just kept going, and then...
Yeah.
And then somehow the missile went back up into space, as missiles are known to do.
Well, I think they had to send it somewhere, and I feel like they decided that sending it into the ocean again, like they have maybe, just has a bit of a more of effect than a bit of a wave.
I suppose. The Hour War Game thing was much more accurate, and much less damaging to the world if it just doesn't explode instead of exploding but somewhere else.
Yeah.
I still don't know how they got the missile to do 180.
Yeah, it was magic.
Magic.
It does not make sense.
I mean, it's Omegamon. As for my lowlights, I feel like the wall of text that came up the audio wall of text that was came up 3 times, the info dumps.
Yeah.
That was kind of, I feel like...
I was there, I watched it.
If I was a kid watching that, even though it's good in kids shows, sometimes you have to explain what happened just in case. You only would have to do that once, I'm sure. Kids aren't that silly. But the fact that it almost started to bore me, I feel like it would just bore a child to tears. Like, you don't need an info dump 3 times of something we just saw. Especially when most of it, like, yes, okay, say that the government is playing it off as an error. That's something that is good to know. Have someone question why are we targeting Tokyo out of all places? That's fine. But the fact the characters don't know much, so what they're just reiterating is what we just saw. So I feel like it wasn't fully needed that we got those info dumps, but we got them. And I just wish we didn't, and that was my main lowlight, because the majority of the episode was just these unnecessary info dumps where we could have had... I know this episode could have been maybe part of the next episode. It could have been cut down to so little.
Yeah, I
because
agree.
of those info dumps.
Yeah, it could almost have been just the beginning of the next episode if they'd wanted to put 2 things together and not do that. But I mean, it's fine. It's definitely the weakest of the 3 we've seen so far, I think.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I feel like it potentially gets things out of the way. So yeah.
Yeah, I just hope Koshiro isn't going to be the character that goes, this is the impact this is having on the world. Info dump.
It's what he's done every time, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm hoping
Depends
that'll
on how that
change,
goes.
like, once they're in the digital world, maybe, and they're cut off in the real world, maybe. But we don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Koshiro still has contact with the real world somehow.
It's
just like, this is what's happening.
He'll find a way.
He'll bring the laptop. It'll be fine. It'll have Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Any other lowlights?
Hikari, just still nothing. I am really... I'm almost expecting that this entire series will not pass the Bechdel test and just let 2 women have a conversation.
No, I have faith. I have faith, and I mean, maybe Hikari's building up to something happening later on that's really cool. So I'm going to reserve judgment on any.
I think we're building up to Hikari
moments.
glowing.
Hopefully in a good way and not a boring way, because sometimes we get just like, oh, I guess Hikari's glowing now. I guess that's just what she does. Crest of light, she glows.
In the dark.
In the dark. That's her new crest. It actually just glows in the dark.
But now with Boy there too.
And now with Boy there. Boy glows with hope, apparently. Anyway, what about compared to the original series? Because I feel like it was a diversion from the original series. As we said, the camp was just a minor thing. and then we left. So it's a pretty big split of the fact that we're only going to the digital world at the end of this episode, and we go to summer camp for about 5 seconds, but then we go home, and then we go to the digital world at the train station.
Because we get a notification on our digivices.
Yeah.
Toshio really likes sitting out crises in the train station for some reason.
Yeah, he likes that bench. It must be a comfortable bench.
He can't just walk home with a brand new laptop that used to be a tablet and be like, hey, I somehow afforded this.
I don't know. I think I could have done that as a kid and my mom would have never noticed that anything changed.
I don't know. I feel like his parents would have said, Koshiro is so good, he probably invented it. He's so smart. Our son is so smart.
Just converted his tablet into a laptop. He probably could.
Yeah, I mean, Koshiro does what Koshiro does. I don't know. Okay, favourite character. Mine's super predictable. You can probably guess who mine is.
Is it Yamato?
No.
Sora.
It's Taichi.
No,
isn't it?
It's Taichi, because he's so good. He thanks Koshiro, he shakes his hand, he's just totally nice. He's so carefree about everything because he knows that Koshiro has it. He says, I don't mind about all, whatever the reason for evolving or whatever happened because everyone's safe and the whole world is back to normal, or so I think. But it is so nice that he is just so nice.
He is a good boy, and that is
yeah,
good.
Taichi.
But
yeah.
I am ready for someone else to take the spotlight.
Oh, me too. I'm ready to pick someone else, and I'm sure when Mimi shows up, she'll be my favourite just because she's Mimi. She could literally show up for 5 seconds, and then I'll be like, yep, Mimi's my favourite. But for now, Taichi's just being so good, and he's just so likeable, and I feel like he's much more likeable than he was in the original series.
I would definitely say that that's true. Just Sora, because I do like her new outfit a lot.
Yeah.
I'm still anti-visor, so I'm giving it to Joe, if anyone.
Alright.
That's fair. Those are fair choices. Sora is just so cool. The way she just stands is just, I don't know. I can't believe I'm just standing away someone stands, but here we are. Sora's just so cool, and the fact that we get Joe injuring himself is just peak Joe, and they're both valid choices, but yeah, my choice is still Taichi.
Yeah.
What about rating out of 5 for this episode?
I'm gonna go a little
2.
lower and call it a 3.
Maybe 2.5.
2.5.
I give it a 3. I'm solid on a 3. Because I enjoyed the animation so much, and because I have so much hope for the next episode being able to play off this episode really well, because we introduced Sora, and we know the episode title for the next episode, so we know that Sora is, spoilers, being involved.
That's true.
I'm gonna give it a 3, and I can't go lower because
It's
I
Digimon.
feel like episode. Yeah, I feel like it will go lower, but not this episode.
That's fair.
I'm sure anything has a capacity for being worse than this. That's why I'm giving it a 3.
I am definitely willing to call it a 3 for the time being, but I was a little disappointed with this episode, I gotta tell you.
Oh, me too, but because of the way that we're going into the next episode, that's next episode could be really bad, which could make this episode even worse, but presuming the next episode is good, or at least better than this, I feel like it'll flow into it better, if that makes sense, and that's why I give it a 3.
I'm giving it a 2.5 because it felt like half of it was Omegamon, the other half was info dumps, then it just had a tiny tease for the next episode, which will probably be better than this.
Yeah,
so,
that is a valid rating. But that's still not bad. That's still 50%. That's still a
it's
passing.
Just fine. There wasn't anything that exciting about it for me this week.
I just like the animation. I just think the animation was really great.
Yeah.
There's just a wonky shot in Taichi's apartment that for some reason just made me think, oh, the animation bad. I don't know why. That's just one shot stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Where Hikari looked really wobbly.
I think that's just Hikari.
Yeah.
She's
moving, the weird shadow
moving
feather.
at the speed of light. It's hard to see.
Yeah. Well, that's her crest. It's the speed of light. Anyway, in terms of ranking the episodes, I'm fairly certain that we all agree that
1, 2, 3.
this is the 1, 2, 3. Still that.
Yeah.
Which is it's good that the first episode was good, but I would like to outrank the first episode. At the moment, it just looks like we're counting down.
Yeah.
It's just 1, 2, 3. We're just counting.
I definitely hope the show did not peak in the first 20 minutes.
That would be a shame.
Yeah, that'd be really... That'd really suck if we're just the best episode was the first one. Here is some mediocre storytelling. But I still have hope. Because the episodes seems to carry itself in a way that if there are 50 episodes, I feel like it's setting the story for those 50 episodes. I don't mind having a setup episode that is an okay episode rather than no setup and just like we dive straight into Digimon because that's what Digimon do.
Yeah. But I'm thinking back, and I feel like Tamers had me hooked a lot more in the first 3 episodes, and that's...
Yeah, but then then went down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not denying that. I'm just...
Yeah.
So, we will see. I will say, Appmon also did not catch me for the first probably 4 or 5 episodes, so...
The first couple of episodes, the first episode was a really strong episode. The 4th episode is still one of the best, but the first, chunk is just sort of like, oh yeah, it's an okay show, it's better than a lot of Digimon, but then it got really good and it actually had some good ideas. So hopefully we go that way from here and not just like Frontier, which probably had one of the best first episodes in all of Digimon. Before Adventure : it had the best first episode, I would say.
Yeah.
But then Frontier just lost the plot. Considering how good the first episode was, it just lost it. And I guess Cross Wars had an okay couple of first episodes too.
Yeah.
Had some good ideas, but Digimon has a problem of just sort of like having a good episode and then the rest of the season being like fine or bad. And then meanwhile we might have like a mediocre first episode and then just like the rest of the season is pretty good. So, I don't know. We'll move on to questions, but before that, I want to bring on a discussion point that I'm bringing over from when I was on the With the Will podcast the other week, or last week rather, which is, if we were to reboot a series to be improved, a Digimon series obviously, in the same way that Adventure : is a reboot of Adventure, which series and why?
Well, the joke answer I have is called Lyoko, but,
With the foreheads, even bigger foreheads this time.
Yes. I feel
Savers might be good.
Savers is an interesting idea.
Yeah, I mean, I already liked Savers, so I don't want Savers to be touched because it could just make it worse.
I think
already liked Adventure as well, though.
I think I'd maybe see about doing either O2 or like the sequel that it seemed like they were going to do at the end of O2.
Yeah, like a continuation on from that when it's their kids.
Yeah.
Which I thought Tamers was when I was a kid because Kari was the teacher.
Oh, sure. No, I was just thinking like at the end of O2, they give all the kids who had the dark spores D3s and things, and it's like, okay, so you're very easily setting this up to be just Iori gets to be the new team leader because he's the oldest, and then you've got a bunch of these new kids who have D3s, and maybe we'll get one new person, and you could kind of pass the torch that way. And I think it would have been interesting. You could have gone back into the Dark Ocean stuff that we didn't have time for in O2. Like, I really think we could have gone some places.
They had time for it in O2. They just chose not to.
Okay, that's fair.
See, I would think that Frontier would be a good reboot. Like, imagine Frontier.
Frontier could be a good one.
World building, but imagine if it was really, really good. Like, I love Frontier's world building. I love the ideas that they have. I love the fact that they had lore. They had, like, ancient Digimon. They had history. Mm-hmm. And they had quite interesting, like, factions that were feuding. Because of the angel Digimon,
I felt like they leaned into the
nice
Christianity a little too much, but I do see what you're coming from.
Yeah, like, it has the potential for a really good story, and Frontier, the series that we got, didn't really go into the story. I felt like I would really like a Frontier that was good.
Yeah.
The movie was good.
I think a Frontier
I would like a Frontier. Who goes...
Sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I would like a Frontier where there gets to be more than one girl in it as well. And they actually get to matter, maybe.
Yeah, like, if they gave, not just, like, the fact Zoe was barely used, but the other characters also, like, Tomoki and Junpei, they just sort of sat there the whole time not doing anything either. Like, it's terrible the fact that Zoe didn't do anything, but the other characters didn't really do much either besides Takuya and Koji.
Yeah,
so...
I do not like when it becomes the main two.
But Koichi got shelved. He was doing really well being another
Koichi.
character. And then... But he was overpowered. And then for some reason, now he's weak?
Well, he's still OP. He just had to stop doing anything so that the two boys could do things.
Yeah, which sucks.
Especially because he was like the queerest character in Digimon.
Yeah. But it had potential, and that's why I would like to see Frontier being rebooted and better. Because so many good ideas were just wasted.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, O2 and Frontier are probably my two big contenders for that.
Yeah.
And then If Try had been good, I'd say give me, Try of Tamers, but I do not trust them to keep doing that.
Yeah, I don't want... I've decided I don't want sequels. I want new stories, or I guess reboots, because they are... Essentially, this is a new story. The characters, yeah, they're the same, but their personalities are a little bit different, so...
Yeah.
It is a new story. I'm calling this a new series. People saying, "Oh, it's just a reboot." Like,
it's significantly
it's like a bit
different.
more than it's not like a rehash. They're the new stories. It's different. It's got different stories. It's got the characters are different, and I have hope for this. Hopefully, it's not misplaced hope. Any other answers for the reboot question?
Reboot Kazuna.
So half the world can actually see it.
Yeah.
Reboot Try and do it well.
Or just like have it finish at chapter 3 and just have it a sad ending. I don't care.
That'd be so good. Or really,
it could be sad.
The thing that I keep suggesting, which is just give me a sepia-toned story about the original 5.
Oh yeah, I want that. I want the original
Yeah.
chosen to be... I mean, how about we just have 3 chapters of Try, and then the rest of the other 3 are just the adventures of the original chosen.
God, that'd be so
What
good.
if... Let's just reboot the first 5 minutes of chapter 4 of Try.
Yeah.
And turn it into a full series.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, into a full... Yeah.
Do-
Because that was
Seriously,
good.
do the whole thing as
I enjoyed
a silent film. That would be kind of an amazing 26 episodes.
If it was good. We have a question from Will Dado on the website who says, if they reboot Cross Wars, hopes Nene becomes closer to her manga counterpart as she is more nuanced. Yeah, the Cross Wars manga's fairly good. It takes those good ideas of Cross Wars, and which I think is a fine season. I feel like Cross Wars does have a lot of positives. It's just the third part of Cross Wars which isn't that good. Mm-hmm. Actually, the second part is the best.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I have just like the manga, but do it as the anime. The manga's really good. Will Dado also says that the evolutions feel unearned because they should have failed because Yamato and Taichi just met, which I feel like is a good point. They don't have a bond to cause that progress, so that's a fair point.
They're already friends, though. Taichi said so.
Yeah, Taichi said so, and I guess Yamato just like, okay, this is beneficial for the team. SP on the website says that they hope for separate episodes for each child. Me too. Hopes we get new special evolutions. That'd be cool. Maybe even armor evolutions or something. I don't know. That'd be fairly cool. SP wonders if maybe kids don't use crests to evolve to perfect as they are already glowing now. That's fair. They already have the traits, but that would make a lot of evolutions just feel unearned.
I feel like that's definitely where we're going, though. Like, we went straight to Omegamon. We're past that.
And the crests shone and did stuff. Like, the crests did react. But it's more like they're like a symbol of the child rather than
a specific thing.
An earned trait. Yeah. Next we have Jason on the website who says, yeah, it was very fast, but hopefully slows down after the first arc. Yeah, I hope so once all the setup's done.
It sure slowed down a bit today.
Yep.
It did, but not in a way that was satisfying to me.
No. And then Jason says, maybe we get a new Omegamon form. And I'm just like, please no.
We have so many.
We don't need more Omegamon.
Yeah. And then we have Gleaming Gamor on Tumblr who says too early for Omegamon. I'm like, yeah, I agree.
I agree, yeah. Or at very least, I wish they would have, like, actually done... So, actually nerf after that. Make Agumon go back to a Digi-Egg. Something.
Yeah. Or, do something. Then Metal Marmimon on YouTube says, we're only on episode 2 and the kids already need Omnimon to save the day. Power creep and the digital world is wild. I'm like, yep. I guess.
I agree. And
I'm still hopeful,
I
though.
will be very surprised, pleasantly, but very surprised if we actually get the thing we were talking about last time where we could progress from there to just a bunch of different Jogresses to above.
Oh, yeah, that one too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's not going to happen. But it would be cool.
Yeah, and the last question is Mag and A on YouTube, who says, from a technical standpoint, this new series is actually very impressive so far. I'm just not ready to get my hopes up quite yet. Yeah, I would agree that the series is impressive, but my hopes are already up. I'm sorry. You can tell.
Yeah.
Because I'm hype.
I'm excited for more, but my hopes are not that high at the moment. They're sort of in the middle.
May, I'm not sure it's possible for you to lose hope for Digimon.
Oh, it's been lost before. Like, I mean, when Atmon was first announced, I was like, oh man, this is going to be terrible.
That's fair.
Also, I read the novel of Kizuna, and my hope was shattered. Absolutely shattered.
That's fair.
For any adventure being good, so I'm surprised that I'm enjoying this because Kizuna, fairly bad. I've only read the novel, but the story is the same, and the story is not original and steals from 3 other Digimon movies that we've already seen with Adventure. So, thanks. Not original. So, Kizuna, I'm willing to say, bad. Then we have Try, which was 50% pretty okay, pretty good, I guess. And then 50%, oh man, this is bad, this is awful. And then we have 02. Bits I like. I have a lot of nostalgia for the season. I used to think this was my favourite season. Has a lot of issues. I'm willing to say bad. And then we have Adventure, which is boring. So
Yeah.
I had no hope for Adventure being enjoyable until this series, which is pretty good. Like, I was definitely just wanting new stories forever. No more reboots, no more rehashes, no more sequels, just new stories because that one was good. This is promising. But yeah, so I have lost hope for Digimon before. Kizuna, bad. We'll still watch it when it comes out eventually, because I read the novel and I was only disappointed by the novel. Maybe the movie makes it good with the voice acting and the music, but the story, did not enjoy. Anyway, that's it for the questions. You guys have any additional thoughts about the episode, or are you ready to wrap up?
I think I'm ready to wrap up.
Okay, That means I have to go to work. Thank you. Alright everyone, join us next time for episode 4 of Adventure Colon, which is called Bergermon Takes Flight. Do you have any predictions for what happens in the next episode or in future episodes?
Bergermon actually dies.
Pokemon Village. We both said things.
No. Yeah, you both said things that were sad, at least.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Pokemon Village again. It's just going to be Bergermon gets firepower, or Beomon gets firepower.
This was pointed out in the With the Will podcast, but it was episode 4 when Bergermon was... Like, that was Bergemon's evolution episode last time.
It's the same episodes.
Yeah. I think we might see the village, but I doubt it will be for long.
Yeah, I think we might see the village, but I don't want it to be Miramon and the Black Gears get introduced again.
God, I hope they're
I don't think it'll
Gears.
be that, because we're like way past Devimon already, and that's all level.
Yeah, we just laugh at Devimon.
We'll
yeah, we have a Megamon, we'll just step on him, I don't know. But
stare at him, and he'll die in shame.
I think episode 4 will be a 4.3 on my scale.
How could you predict a rating already?
They have advanced access to all the episodes.
Well, that's what a prediction is. Judging by how the episodes have gone so far and the setup, it's going to be higher than the first episode, but it won't be that much higher than the first episode. That's why I'm giving it a weird decimal point, because I don't think we're ready for a 5 out of 5 episode yet. However, Atmon was my favorite episode of Atmon. True, I loved Atmon. Episode 4 was my favorite episode of Atmon, so I could be wrong, but I'm gonna say a little bit better than the first episode. Just judging by episode 3's setting up. If this episode is like a 2, I will probably... That is when my hope will go for this season.
Yeah, if it's a 2, I'll be sad, because that just means my scale's going down and down and down as we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, like, it goes
Don't make me break out the negative numbers.
3.8. Yeah, like, I don't want a negative number show that doesn't do well for my averages, because negative numbers, I don't want to go suddenly low. Ideally, I would like the season to be so good that I feel bad for giving the first episode a 4, and I start having to give, like, 6s or something stupid like that.
Yeah. So that it comes out of 10.
It defeats the purpose. Like, but that's what I mean. I hope, but I don't think that will happen. That is why I gave the first episode a 4, because it was good, and I don't have high hopes for a lot of Digimon things to be actually that good. But I predict this episode will be better than the first one, judging by the setup we have, because if it's not that good, the setup will be completely meaningless and bad and boring, and I don't want that. So that's my prediction, and also the obvious. We'll meet Sora, we'll meet Piomon, we'll meet Bergermon, we'll get to see their relationship between the two. This Sora seems not as broody as original Sora, so I'm not sure if we'll have that plot line of...
I'd be fine with that.
That they're too different, but I liked that sort of plot line. The dub removed it for some reason.
Yeah, I enjoyed it some, but I think it's okay for it to be not there. That being said, yeah. I definitely hope we don't get the Tri-4. Oh yeah, Beomon is just being moody thing.
That was weird. That was weird and did not make much sense. But yeah, those are my predictions. You guys have any more predictions?
It'll be very pretty.
Yes!
It's actually going to be the Tentomon episode. The title's just there to throw you off.
Man, could you imagine?
That
would actually be amazing.
I want to see Tentomon. I want to know what accent he has. That's really important to me. Are we keeping the Kansai?
I hope so.
Me too.
We'll finally see a partner Digimon that isn't Agumon or Garurumon.
And then, again, we haven't seen Gabumon yet at all. We don't even know if Gabumon is in this.
If it's just Garurumon, I'd be so happy. Please.
I'd like that, because it's like, we have Tailmon be Tailmon.
I want Matt on Giant Wolf at all times. He's too cool.
That's cool. And then Bigger Wolf. And then he's on the shoulders of a werewolf. And then Metal Wolf. I'm a fan of that.
Wolf boy.
Him Big Wolf.
Big Wolf.
That being said, I don't understand why Standing Wolf goes back to not standing anymore.
He got tired.
All the metal. That makes sense.
Yeah. It was too heavy. He stopped wearing pants and was like, this is not comfortable anymore.
That's fair.
Makes sense. Checks out.
Can we get a Werewolf that wears a skirt? That'd be awesome.
I'd like that.
I'd like that a lot.
I wish I could draw, because I would totally draw, or maybe Animal Crossing villager Garurumon in a skirt being like one of the peppy wolves.
Oh god, that'd be so good. Listeners, someone make this and we will link it on the next episode.
Why are you saying listeners? I'm right here.
You too.
It's okay, Stevie. Well, Stevie's listening.
Yeah.
Technically,
you are listeners.
Technically, we are all listeners. We're just live listeners of the podcast we're also talking on.
Alright.
But yeah, I live for Animal Crossing Digimon crossovers.
Now that I have my new job, maybe I'll have to talk myself into buying Animal Crossing.
Yes.
Please, yes. And we'll play together. It'll be great.
Yeah,
And
I don't actually
start getting paid until July, so...
Yeah, don't buy it until money is a thing, obviously.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do have work.
Yep.
So
and I have had a helmet on for an hour and a half.
Which is kind of cool. I live for that life.
Yeah, that's fair.
But, so the link dump's linked in the description, and our Redbubble is also linked in the description, and you get more than just shirts there too. And I'm going to say all this without trembling over my words, and I'm going to say it at a normal pace, so people who are humans can hear me. Alright, and sometimes people like me will listen to a podcast at 2 times speed, and then when people talk quickly, it just becomes nonsense.
That's fair.
So I'm going to slow down a little bit and try to breathe and not stumble over words. Wish me luck. So you can contact us and stay updated. You can email us at LostinTranslationmon, or you can comment on this episode or message us on our website, LostinTranslationmon.com, where you can vote in polls, check out our release schedule, and our blog posts. I've been reviewing Digimon, which is a surprise to many.
What?
You can also follow us on I already messed up. God damn it. You can also follow us on @TranslationMon on Twitter, and you can find us on LostinTranslationmon on Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And we have a discussion thread on With the Will, and a Reddit thread in the Digimon subreddit. And we would appreciate if you would review us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and any other podcast listening app you use. And you can donate to our Patreon, which is also linked in the description, from as little as $1 a month. That gets you to access to a listener Discord server, but there are higher levels with more rewards such as notes, early episodes, and more. And thank you to our current supporters on Patreon, Joe, Anime Guy, who's Anime Guy Kurosaki1 on YouTube, Stephen Reeves, who is Wildwing64 and Archive Our Own, Kaidawashi, Chisai, who can follow on Tumblr at Chisai236, Kyle, Tom, Lizman, who's Elecmon on Tumblr, Nicholas, Metal Mamimon, Sam, Spiral, Keith, from a computer podcast on the internet, Magnus, and Hemi. And you can also make one donation on our PayPal, which can be found in the description. It's paypal.me/Edgemon. You can also donate to me on Ko-fi, which is ko-fi.com/Edra. And I said all that with only messing up once, but I forgot to breathe the entire time. That was a problem. That's a problem. I just need to breathe. Life would be so much easier if I didn't, but oh well. Anyway, so of course, obviously, thank you to Quinn and Stevie for joining me. You can check them out on the Moncast, which they talk about Pokemon and Digimon. Both great, because you can always like both.
Yep. We have a brand new episode out tomorrow for Moncast Monday.
It's true.
It's focused on typecasting for Pokemon and Jewel of the War Greymon for Digimon.
Oh no, not Black Ball Greymon.
Yep. It's the one where the War Greymons fight.
And then Agumon says something about his uncle. I don't know. But yeah, so listen to the Moncast. And of course, as always, thank you for you both joining me. It would be just me talking for 2 hours on my own, laughing at my own jokes if you guys were not here.
Instead, it's 2 hours of just you talking and us laughing at your jokes.
Yeah.
Which is
so much better.
Definitely an improvement.
Honestly, it's weird to
course,
listen to a podcast with just one person.
The novel ones, I feel like, work okay as the one person, but I don't think I could do a discussion ones because...
It's just you talking.
And who's going to laugh at my jokes? Yeah, in the novel ones are just like me doing a Datamon voice and wrecking my voice and then making dumb comments for no reason. because that's just me. But yeah, thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys next time for episode 4. Let's hope it's not bad. Bye!
Bye!